Hi, it's Laura at Aquamarine18 Tarot and Books. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. Welcome or welcome back. This is a VR to a tag called Tarot Community Build. And this is a tag by Livy of Crescent Dreams Tarot. I will link their original video below. And this is their first tag, and it caught my attention because, focus on community building and getting to know each other, which I like. So I thought that I would make a VR late as usual. So, better late than never, I suppose, with a tag. I'm going to timestamp my answers below to most of the questions. There is a kind of like a rapid fire questions at the end. I'm not going to timestamp those individually, but I'll timestamp the main questions at the beginning because I ramble. So, question number 1. Name, pronouns, and channel name if you have one. My name is Laura. Both they, them, and she, her pronouns respect me equally well. And my channel name is Aquamarine18 Tarot and Books. It was for a long time just called Aquamarine18, which was my username here on YouTube when I didn't have a channel, but I was kind of commenting on other people's videos, and so I just kept that. I fairly recently made it Aquamarine18 Tarot and Books because I did want to have some kind of indication of the substance of my channel in the name. So that's me, Laura, they/she, Aquamarine18 Tarot and Books. Number 2, what first got you into tarot, and if you have a channel, why did you create it? Now, I don't know what first got me into tarot in the sense of what my first encounter with tarot would have been. I know that this would have been at a very young age, but I don't remember any kind of memory of, seeing tarot cards for the first time and thinking, oh my goodness, I need to do this, or having any particular kind of, media representation of tarot really standing out to me or anything like that. There's definitely divination in my family on the part of some of my, very, very recent ancestors. So it was never something that was frowned upon in my house or anything like that. I also grew up, at a time, and I'm of an age, I think a lot of, folks of the same age as me will say the same thing, which is that I feel like there was a lot of kind of witchy television and things around when I was growing up. So, I don't know where I would have seen tarot first, but I can tell you that my first deck was the Jonathan D. Tarot pack, which I still have, and that I would have gotten this in my early teens at some point from my mom and or my grandmother. I'm sure it had a book with it. I remember it having a book with it. I don't have that anymore. I don't have any of the original packaging. I did keep it in this velvet pouch. Somewhere along the way, I picked up that velvet and silk were the ways to carry these things. I'm willing to blame family on that one. This is a ridiculous deck to learn with. It's kind of halfway between Marseille and Rider-Waite-Smith, but I had a great time with this, doing readings for myself and for others and writing them down in a binder. And so definitely in my early teens was when I became interested in and had something like a tarot practice. Then there was quite a lull before getting kind of more deeply into learning and study and, getting better at tarot reading and other forms of divination as an adult. Why did I create a channel? The second part of the question. Mostly I kind of created a channel to community build, as the tag suggests, in terms of meeting people, making friends. I enjoyed commenting on people's videos a lot before I actually started my own channel. Once I found that YouTube was a place for tarot content and that there was some great tarot content here on YouTube, I quickly kind of became interested in participating in the kinds of conversations that were being had. I definitely had hesitation around starting a channel. I did a lot of thinking around things like privacy and, how much of my myself and my offline life I would necessarily want to share on a channel, but it eventually, you know, from commenting on other people's videos, got to the point that I wanted to make videos myself. I wanted to make VRs. I wanted to, you know, share my thoughts and talk about decks and, you know, all the things that, you know, tarot YouTube involves beyond only commenting. So Aquamarine 18 channel was born once I got over the kind of hurdle of, you know, getting over the idea that, oh, there's plenty of tarot channels, you don't have anything to possibly add, which I think probably most people who make a channel have a little bit of that feeling. It feels kind of inevitable to me. But once I got over that, and I do think it's kind of ridiculous, of course, everybody has something to add, I was quite happy to create a channel, and I've been enjoying it, you know, and I continue to just have a channel because I like chatting about tarot and about books and about other things with folks with shared interests and making friends and making connections. I'm awkward, but I like meeting people and talking about tarot. So there it is. That's why I created it. Question 3. What is your tarot aesthetic? Basically, what kind of decks are you attracted to? My attraction knows no bounds. I thought about picking out some decks to share to talk about my tarot aesthetic, but it turns out that my tarot aesthetic is rather varied. I don't have a type, is basically what I'm saying. I have decks that are drawn, decks that are painted, decks that are digitally painted, decks that are collaged, not a ton, but a few. Decks that are photography based, a deck that is textile based, you know, in terms of art medium, all over the place. I like decks that are nature themed. I like decks that have landscape artwork. I like decks that, you know, are more contemporary, that have humans in them and in all the cards, or sometimes only in some of the cards. Sometimes I like more minimalist pips. Sometimes I like more Smith-Waite style, fully illustrated pips. I don't have a fixed tarot aesthetic. I'm open-minded, okay? I did bring some decks, but there is no cohesive aesthetic to be found here. So I'm all over the place. Next question. What tarot system is your favorite and which do you want to learn? So I feel like in terms of systems, if we want to use that language, I have studied Smith-Waite and Marseille. Of course, I feel like there's always something more to learn, and studying tarot is a lifelong pursuit. But those are the systems that I feel comfortable reading with. I wouldn't necessarily say that I have an absolute favorite. I do really like, though, and I've pointed these out before, you know, I like decks that deviate pretty far from systems, if anything. And so something like, I'm going through to find some minors here. Something like the minors in Fifth Spirit, which are kind of pip-ish, you know, pips plus. They're not really, they're definitely not Marseille, but they have nods to the Smith-Waite without being fully illustrated. This is like my dream minor Arcana style, I would say. So pips plus, that's my favorite system. But I also like decks that are totally abstract and don't even have pips. So I don't have a favorite system. Which system do I want to learn? I don't know that I want to learn any more tarot systems beyond Smith-Waite and Marseille. There are a couple of decks that I feel like really have their own thing going on that I would like to spend more time with. I would like to really familiarize myself with the universe of Tarot of the Cat people. I wouldn't call that a system, but it certainly has its own set of symbolisms built into it that are unique to it. I would really like to spend more time on Lenormand. I have a handful of Lenormand decks, and I have spent some time, you know, I read a few Lenormand books, synthesized some meanings out of those, and can can do okay, but I think that I could be a lot better of a Lenormand reader, so I'd like to spend some time on that. I would also really like to spend some time with playing cards. So, those are card systems that I would like to learn. They're not tarot systems, but cartomantic systems. The next question, top 3 favorite major arcana. The Moon, the Magician, and the Tower are the 3 that I'm going to pick. The Moon is the 18 in Aquamarine 18. I'm a Pisces, so the Moon is, the card that is associated with my sun sign. My Mercury is also in Pisces. I really like the Moon card because to me the Moon card has to do with mystery and, liminality and blurriness and fantasy and imagination, and there's something really kind of seductive about that, moonlight kind of feeling to me. I know, of course, that often the Moon is a card that is given meanings that skew more negative in terms of making a kind of dichotomy with the sun. But I think that there's, for me, there's positive and negative and nuance and complexity in every card, major and minor. So I don't think of the Moon as even really the counterpart to or opposite to the sun in any kind of way, and certainly not negatively. I love the Moon card. I love the Magician card because the Magician, to me, gets things done. The Magician has their tools that they use, that they turn to the intentions that they have, and they make magic with the tools and the intentions that they have. I enjoy the ways in which depictions of magician cards can, sometimes go into more the kind of street magician, performer, kind of end of things, but then other times it's much more kind of ritual magic, and I like thinking about those things together very much. So I like the Magician card, and I like the Tower card because, clearing away the tower so that you can see the star. Like, I think that that's amazing. I feel like the Tower is, affirming when things need to be ripped down and dismantled so that, growth and new visions can take their place. I really like the Tower card. So those are the cards that I like. And that's my top 3 major arcana based on kind of the meanings of the cards. I interpreted the question in that way. I see that you could interpret it as like 3 favorite depictions, like from particular decks or something. I've just chosen to go general though. The next question is favorite suit of the minors and why. I find this to be a very difficult question, as is probably very obvious so far. I'm not good at picking favorites. Whenever there's like top 10 tag or something like that, I'll be the person with 15 honorable mentions. I'm not good at picking one deck per prompt. I'm not good at picking, only a finite amount of things. And what I like about the suits is the way that they go together, right? Because to me, the minor arcana are elementally associated. So the 4 of them together, do something together that none of them on their own could do, right? If that makes sense. I think it does. So it's hard to pick a favorite. And I have cards in all of the minor suits that I really like, right? Like, I could probably pick a few favorite minor arcana. If I picked 5 favorite minor arcana, probably all of the suits would be represented. So that's challenging. I guess I'm going to say Pentacles, because they feel the most tangible to me. And I like to read about quite concrete kind of everyday questions and everyday things. And so the Pentacles feel grounded and maybe not so esoteric as some of the others as a whole. But I think, I like all the suits, and I have favorite cards in all the suits. The next question is, which of the courts would you consider as your significator? I wouldn't, because I don't use the court cards as significators. I don't really read with significators in tarot. I don't do so to represent the querent. I might pick a significator to signify a question. Like sometimes I've used the Two of Swords as a significator, thinking about a decision that needs to be made, and then I'll go through the shuffled deck and find the couple of cards on either side of that Two of Swords and consider the decision in that way. That's kind of like a significator in that you're looking for it in a particular kind of a way. But I don't do court card significators. I mentioned my sun sign is Pisces, so if that was the method of picking a court card significator, I would be somebody in the cups. But I think that I have a little bit of all of the court cards in myself in terms of their traits, and I think that that's true of everybody. And, I would use a significator in something like a Lenormand reading, but I don't in tarot, so I don't have a good answer to this question. The next question is cardstock a big deal for you? Yes and no. I would say that it's not a big deal for me in that there are a lot of different kinds of cardstock that I can be very happy with. I really like the linen of the Fifth Spirit. I really like matte. I really like smooth. There are a couple of mass market publishers whose cardstock I'm quite content with. There's a number of options on Make Playing Cards that I'm quite content with. I'm not like that the cardstock has to be one specific thing or else I don't like it. So in that sense, no, cardstock's not a big deal. But yes, it is a big deal in that if it's shit, it could be a deal breaker for me. And there are some cardstocks that I really, really don't like. Now, the Jonathan D will have a special place in my collection forever because it was my first deck. But like, this is cardstock hell to me. This warrants reprint just for that. I don't like cardstock that is thin. I don't like cardstock that feels flimsy. And I don't like cardstock that feels like all of the cards are clumping together and sticky. Though I do find that at least goes away with time, whereas flimsy thinness does not. So that's my cardstock snobbery for you. The next question is, do you read for others? Yes, I love reading for others, particularly for friends and family, because that is really all that I read for. I did read at a holiday market, a couple of months ago in December, and that was quite fun. So I have read for strangers as well. I don't have any kind of aspiration to read tarot professionally, but I do really like reading for friends and exchanging readings with friends if those friends are also diviners of various sorts. So yes, I read for others. I also read for myself. And the last question is the number one deck that you're excited to have come out this year. I'm excited about lots of things, but there actually aren't too many that I'm really, really, excited and eagerly awaiting that I know for a fact are definitely coming out this year. I will say, I guess, for this question that the deck I'm most excited about coming out this year is the Literary Tarot. And the reason that I'm so excited for the Literary Tarot coming out this year is because I backed it on Kickstarter and it had an estimated delivery of 2021. So they've had a series of setbacks. And that's okay. When I back something on Kickstarter, I expect delays. I am never going to be the person who's badgering a creator who's dealing with all kinds of unforeseen circumstances, especially in the last few years. Things happen. I'm always happier if somebody takes the extra time to get the items the way that they were intended, even though things like sample printings take extra time. But I'm really excited to have the literary tarot come out this year. Of course, it unites tarot and books, which I'm going to be interested in. And I just hope it's well done. I hope that the authors and the stories are represented well. I hope that the deck is good. I'm really excited for it, though. I'm excited for the guidebook. I did back for the big guidebook for that one. There's a small one and a large standalone guidebook, and I backed for both. So that's the deck I'm most excited for. Literary Tarot. Now the lightning round questions. The first part took me 20 minutes. How much lightning round could I do? Okay, here we go. Lightning round questions. Number 1, coffee or tea? Coffee. 100% coffee. I very seldom drink tea. I like iced tea in the summer, and the odd herbal tea in the evening, but coffee every day. I'm drinking coffee all morning. Black coffee. Question number 2, colors or monochrome? Both. I'm not sure if this is about decks specifically or in general, but both. Cats or dogs? I enjoy both, but cats. I can't imagine myself living with a dog personally. I enjoy socializing with other people's dogs when I get a chance, but cats all the way. Flora or fauna? Both. Instinctively, I want to say animals, but also druid, so trees also. Both. Favorite time of day? I would say... Shit. I'm bad at rapid fire questions. I like the early afternoon because I'm sufficiently caffeinated and at my most focused. And so early afternoon is a really good time for me to be reading or working or studying or doing any kind of activity that involves any kind of focus. Early afternoon is my time. But I really love the quiet of the sunrise as well. So I like a lot of times of day. And finally, favorite things besides tarot. Reading. Reading books. Other divination systems, Ogham and geomancy in particular, I really enjoy. I also would say food. I love food. I love cooking and I love food. I love canoeing and being out on the lake. I love swimming. I love hiking. I love any kind of like outdoor adventure, like zip lining, anything like that. Those kinds of things I really, really enjoy. Being on a beach, being by the lake, being outside. Druidry. Those are some of my favorite things besides tarot. So that's all for me. This has been Tarot Community Build. Thank you to Livy for starting the tag. I've been enjoying other folks' VRs and look forward, I hope, to more. I'll see y'all again soon.